Hi, I'm Bill from Guitar Center. Today I'd like to tell you about a really terrific guitar called the custom OM28 VTS. I'll tell you what makes this guitar custom in a few minutes. But first, let's talk a little bit about the history of the Martin model OM28. Martin invented the OM28 back in 1929. A very famous banjo player named Perry Bechtel asked him to make a special guitar for him, and he wanted a small body with a long neck. So Martin crafted the first OM model. This first model was the first guitar that Martin had ever produced with what we call a 14-fret neck. You can see the body joins the neck at the 14th fret. Prior to the invention of the OM, all the Martin guitars joined the body at the 12th fret, and that was the custom of the time. The 14-fret guitar became so popular that Martin decided to integrate it into their dreadnought guitars in 1934. So on to the properties of this particular model and what makes it custom and what makes it a very special guitar. It's a fact that old guitars sound better. Why? Well, the molecular structure of the top wood and the back and sides wood, but primarily the top wood, changes as the guitar aged and is played. The moisture content of the top fades away over time, causing this change. And I'm not just talking about the water, but there are other elements of that moisture that when they change the structure of the wood. The result is the old guitar sounds really rich and full. So how do you get that sound out of a new guitar? Well, guitar builders for centuries have been working on that problem and trying to use different woods, different bracing, different methods to do so. But the real way to achieve this is to change the top's molecular structure just like the aging wood. So there's a process called torrefaction, where you take the top wood and put it in a specially designed oven and literally bake it for an amount of time until that change starts to take place. The amount of time you leave it in the oven allows Martin to actually designate a specific decade in time which they are trying to duplicate in terms of tonality. Martin has further honed this process by benchmarking the sound against some of the vintage guitars they have in the Martin Museum. Some of those guitars are well over 100 years old. The torrefaction process also darkens the color of the wood. It's a natural property of the process. So this guitar, the custom OM28 VTS, incorporates what I've just described, and Martin calls that the vintage tone system. The top on this guitar is a premium Sitka spruce top, aged to reach the tonality of a guitar produced in the 1930s. What's cool about this is this guitar combines the modern playability of the OM28 with the vintage tone of a 1930s guitar. It's an unbeatable combination. The guitar has clearly defined treble, rich mids, and a punchy bass. The body on this guitar, like any OM28, is Indian rosewood. And rosewood is one of the better woods that I've ever heard for any acoustic guitar. The neck on this guitar is a contemporary low-profile performing artist neck. The neck is joined to the body with a dovetail neck joint. This gives the optimum transfer of sound between the neck and the body. The guitar has an ebony fingerboard and bridge. The rosette, the rings around the sound hole, are what's called a style 28. Binding around the body, which is also around the back, is grained ivaroid. On the top, it's complemented by a bold herringbone design of purfling. The headstock has a nice rosewood overlay on it. And when we flip the guitar over, we see the tuners. These are Grover tuners. They're called open gear tuners with a vintage look to them, and they have what's called butterbean buttons. The nut up here and the saddle down here are both made of bone. Bone is acknowledged to be the best material finish on this guitar is nitrocellulose lacquer. It's a very thin coating. It takes several coats to get it right, but the result is a durable finish that allows maximum resonance from the guitar body. The guitar comes in a nice hard-shell Martin case. This is the Martin Custom OM28 VTS for vintage tone system. You can play one at a Guitar Center near you or check it out online at guitarcenter.com.